Children, file 24059 and 8. Okay, we're back on record for the review and permanency planning as it relates to Austin. Ms. Stang, you're the only one we haven't had an introduction from yet.
Sorry, I apologize. I was detained in a court hearing in Monroe County. Alexis Stang on behalf of the respondent father, Austin Doobie.
Thank you. And you've had a chance to talk to your client as well, I think?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, we made sure you had a copy of the court report and the opportunity to chat with you about it while we had the time to do it this afternoon. We don't always, but we did today. All right. Any preliminary comments from any of our attorneys before we get started?
Thank you.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Howard, let's go to you for your report.
Yes, sir. Are we on YouTube?
We are. Yes, we are on YouTube, so we can avoid the children's names. That would be great.
I was able to meet with both children multiple times this reporting period, most recently on January 2nd, 2026. I would say for the most part, they're doing very well in the care of their maternal aunt and uncle. When I go and meet them, they're very friendly with me, and I pretty much every time I go there, the younger of the two is always right there at the door to greet me or runs up to me and shows me whatever new toy he has. And he's just always so happy. And so, he's got a very good heart. You can just tell whenever you are around him and talk with him. The older of the two is very competitive and, has some of these behavior issues. He definitely seeks attention. I played air hockey with him and watched him do a word search game, and both times it was very evident he did not like to lose and or share with his other siblings or the kids in the home. But he's usually in pretty good spirits, and they all kind of run around and play together in the home. So I'd say the biggest change has been their oldest brother, who is technically their half brother, but they've grown up together, and he moved out of the home. Since then, the environment has gotten better for everyone in the home, even the kids that aren't, the cousins that they're placed with. So that's been more of a positive change. I spoke with the children's daycare providers, and they've seen some pretty big differences in the children's behavior at daycare since this placement back in October, and even since the oldest was moved out of the home. So all very positive, and it seems to be trending in the right direction. They are working with Miss Brene Moore for therapeutic visitation, and I would say if we had this review maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe even towards the beginning of December, there may have been more of a move to supervised visitation from therapeutic visitation. But I do think that over the Christmas break there was a visit, and we kind of took a step back there. But before that, parenting time was going very well. So I really believe that we can get back to that point and move forward with that. The children are starting CMH. I think that the caregiver or the provider is coming into the home today to work with these two, and kind of the youngest will be around too, but she's not directly related to the CMH case. But I really think we need to focus on these two kids. They have these behavioral issues, or speech or OT, PT issues that can be done, and I think there's a lot of work to be done. We have the assessments completed, and it's just about matching them up to the right services to make sure that their needs are met. And I'm hoping we can do that. The best interest of these children is definitely to remain in their current placement. They get along really well with those caregivers. They've done a great job with them and supporting them, caring for them, and just providing them with some stability. And it's really showed in their behaviors at daycare or at school. And they did not share their wishes due to their age. They're both pretty young. So thank you.
Thank you. Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask that Atlas Dimick be sworn in.
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Atlas, for today's hearing, you've provided a court report with a few attachments. Have there been any other documents that you've circulated outside of what's in this packet?
No.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, Are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your report or any of the documents contained therein?
Yes, I was informed by Mr. Doobie that he did do his intake appointment with, I believe, CMH this past Monday, and that he will be starting therapy services in a couple of weeks.
Do you know if those therapy services are directed at substance use, or is that more for just individual therapy and mental health treatment?
They are directed towards substance use.
Okay. At this time, the court report indicates that the permanency goal for the children is reunification. And what would be the barriers to reunification with Mr. Doobie at this time?
At this time, the barriers to reunification include a incomplete psychological evaluation, which is scheduled for tomorrow, as well as just partial progress on the case services. Yes.
Okay. So what is the risk of harm to the children if they were to be returned to his care and custody?
Can you rephrase the question? I'm sorry. I think.
What is the risk of harm? Like, what danger would they be in if the court were to place them with their father today?
The risk of harm if the children were to be returned home. Still maintain the I'm trying to find the right words. You'll have to excuse me. The exposure of substance use due to incomplete drug screenings and partial progress of substance abuse counseling, as well as the incompletion of parenting classes and domestic violence classes that could affect the ability to safely parent children.
Were those the issues that led to the removal of the children from Mr. Doobie?
Yes.
Okay. And so there hasn't been any resolution to those conditions that led to removal at this time?
Correct.
However, is Mr. Doobie complying with his case service plan?
Yes.
Is he in full compliance, or are there areas in which he needs to engage a little more in?
A plan needs to be developed for drug testing to ensure that Mr. Doobie is able to comply with regular drug testing. There are some concerns about transportation through the third-party referral that was made for Mr. Doobie, since he currently, as far as I know, does not have his own reliable transportation at this time, and the referral is for a third-party testing facility in Jackson. So today we started exploring avenues to kind of support that and enable, give accessibility to Mr. Doobie to comply with drug testing.
Thank you. Mr. Howitt had in his report discussed how parenting time was going and maybe some concerns during the holiday break. At this point in time, is there anything that you would like to add about parenting time or the plan moving forward regarding that?
Yeah, just to kind of clarify that statement, previously it was recommended by Brene Moore to do supportive visitation. Mr. Doobie had 2 parenting times, I believe, with Brene Moore at that point of that recommendation, and she did not see a reason for them to be therapeutic. However, after a caregiver supervised visitation over the holiday break, Brene clarified that statement, that she would like them to remain therapeutic due to some of the concerns that were brought up at that visit, and sort of ongoing observations that Brene had in her own personal communication with Mr. Doobie.
Your report indicates that perhaps there's some difficulty in communication or your relationship with Mr. Doobie. Is that still the case, or is there any updates around how well you are working together?
Yes, I was able to get into contact with Mr. Doobie recently, I believe towards the end of last week, to set up some transportation assistance as well as get some updates on his CMH appointment. So tentatively, it is neutral interactions with Mr. Doobie at this time. And in the meantime, I have been utilizing emails in order to have both Saja and Ms. Dang present, sort of in a third-party neutral space.
In your report, there's indication that during this review period, placement had asked for replacement of the children and then rescinded that. Are there any supports that the agency has assisted placement with in order for them to maintain the children in their care?
Yes, we've worked to create a safety plan that will allow the paternal grandparents to provide transportation and assist, since the department has not been able to approve them for placement, but we have been able to approve them for transportation to medical appointments.
The kids are finally stable and doing well, but their father still hasn't done enough to earn more time. Missed progress, inconsistency, and a setback over the holidays keep his visits strictly supervised. The court makes it clear: step up and prove real change, or risk losing even more time. The pressure is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. What's your take on this? Serious eyes emoji?
That was a very big help for this caregiver, as that was one of the main things that, one of the main reasons of why she did not want placement anymore. Additionally, we have organized a way to provide respite care at least once a month, if not every other month, to give that family the break that they absolutely need.
Is there anything related to the children that they need, like any other referrals that need to be made or any other services they need to engage in?
Not at this time. Tentatively, we are waiting for the primary care physician to rule out ADHD for N, as well as following through on ABA therapy for B.
Is there anything else you'd like the court to know from your knowledge of the case or your report that you'd like to highlight?
Not at this time.
Okay. With that, Your Honor, I would just ask the court to admit into the record the court report that was submitted by Atlas on January 6th. Thank you.
Objections?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Thank you. They are received. Questions for this witness? Ms. Stang, we'll start with you.
Yes, thank you. With regards to the issue of the intake appointment with CMH, you testified that he should begin having therapy directed towards substance abuse in a few weeks. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, and do we know an exact date that is set to start at this point?
That was not given to me by Mr. Doobie.
Okay, but it's believed that he has a date rather than them just stating that they would call back at a later point.
From my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you. And that it sounds like he has a psychological evaluation scheduled for tomorrow. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, and that will help with satisfying some of the mental health provisions of his case service plan, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then regarding his housing, your court report states that he is currently residing with his parents and that you're still awaiting proof of that housing. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
What proof would you prefer Mr. Doobie present to you to confirm that he is residing there?
Proof can be a lease agreement, or in the event that the parents own the home, a letter proving that they live there would be sufficient.
Okay. Is it accurate to state that you've gone to that home in the past?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to actually enter that home when you had gone there?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Were you able to enter the home in the past when you had gone to the home?
Yes.
Okay, so to your knowledge, that would be accurate that Austin lives there with his parents based on what you viewed when you were at that home. Is that accurate?
From what I observed, yes.
Okay, so you're just requesting that some form of legal documentation showing that the parents own that home and that Austin therefore is able to be there?
Yes.
And then with regards to his employment, your court report also indicates that you are awaiting proof of his employment at Domino's. Is that still accurate?
Yes.
Okay, and would the most recent pay stubs satisfy that requirement?
Yes, it would.
Okay. And then you also indicated that Austin is currently in the process of getting his own transportation, and that's something that you're looking into resources to help him with. Is that accurate?
Transportation resources were provided.
Okay, so there's nothing further then at this point that could be done by the department to assist with securing that transportation?
Correct, to my knowledge.
Okay. And then for the drug screenings, the first referral was put in November, but there was an issue with that, and therefore a new referral was completed on December 22nd. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And it was reported that there was a time when you had actually gone to the home and attempted to provide a drug screen to Mr. Doobie. Is that also accurate?
Yes.
Did anyone answer the door when you made that attempt on that day?
No.
Okay. Are you positive that Mr. Doobie was home when you made that attempt?
I am positive that someone was home. Mr. Doobie did explain to me that he would be available at that time, and that he did not have work that day, so I had no reason to believe he would not be available.
Okay. What time did you make that attempt, if you recall?
It was around 12:30 p.m.
Okay. And are you aware, or I guess has Mr. Doobie ever informed you of his sleeping schedule due to his employment?
Yes.
Okay. And what did he inform you with regards to that schedule?
He did say that he struggles to get up early in the mornings. So whenever in the past we have had, I've assisted with transportation, or we have had a home visit in the mornings, I would call him to try and wake him up, as well as knock on the glass door at the front of the home, which is by his bedroom.
Okay. And when you made that attempt on that day that we've been talking about for the drug screening, was that day and that specific time actually scheduled, or was that just a day and time that in other conversation had been stated that Mr. Doobie would be working?
The day prior, I was doing a home visit with Mr. Doobie. He said he would be available in the morning. And I said, great, I will give you a call when I have a finite time. So it was a rough estimate.
Okay, and did you make that call that you informed him you would make?
Yes, I texted him in the morning, giving a more accurate ETA of around noon. I called him when I was on my way, and I called him twice when I was at the home.
Okay, but it can't, you can't say for sure whether it was Mr. Doobie who was actually home when you made that attempt, correct?
Correct, I cannot say for sure.
Okay. And then with regards to the two other, I believe, drug screenings that were attempted in this reporting period, were those attempts made by you, or was that made by a different agency giving the screenings?
That was made by a different agency giving the screenings, the instructions of which were sent to Mr. Doobie prior to those screenings taking place.
Okay. And did you send those instructions via email or via text?
Via email.
Okay. Did you also send them via text, or was it just email?
The instructions were just in the email. I did send a follow-up text to Austin to look at his email because I had given some instruction for services.
Okay. And then with regards to the parenting times, are you aware of if there were any indications given to Mr. Doobie that the dates of his parenting time would need to change, or if those dates were the date that were intended to continue? So when I say dates, I mean days of the week.
From my understanding, all scheduling of parenting times were communicated clearly with Mr. Doobie by the therapist.
Okay. Did Mr. Doobie report any concerns or issues with the parenting time dates that had been set to you?
There was a brief moment where parenting times were, we were attempting to move them to Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays. Mr. Doobie did explain to Renee that that did not work with his schedule. So it was changed back to a day that would work for him.
Okay, and when you say schedule, are you aware of if that would be his work schedule or any other schedule?
Work schedule.
Okay, and so then to your knowledge, the plan would be for the parenting time to stay on the days that they currently are?
Yes.
Okay. And then with regards to the parenting education classes that you referenced, was information with regards to where he would need to attend those sent to him as well already?
Yes. The phone number to call to set up parenting classes was sent via email.
Okay. At this point, do you have all signed releases for the children by Mr. Doobie that you would need?
Yes.
Okay, and he provided those to you then upon request?
Yes.
Okay. What would you say would be the most important area of the case service plan that Mr. Doobie needs to work the most on in the next reporting period?
I think in the next reporting period, due to Mr. Doobie reporting sobriety, really focusing on getting those drug tests done in whatever way we can accommodate them being done would be the thing to focus on.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Howell?
Yes. As far as the drug tests go, what is the current plan for having him do the drug screens?
The current plan is through forensic fluids. The instructions for that are to call every day to see if your color is called. And if it is called that day, you have until the end of the day to complete the drug test. And you would go in person to their location in Jackson and then do that drug screening then.
A caregiver reached a breaking point until the court stepped in and approved monthly respite care, giving the family much-needed relief. At the same time, one child is being evaluated for ADHD while another begins ABA therapy. Meanwhile, the father is under strict pressure to comply with drug tests, therapy, and proof of housing and employment, where even a missed visit raises concerns. The court is closely monitoring every move, making it clear that any mistake could have serious consequences, and what happens next may decide everything.
How far is Jackson from his current residence?
It's pretty far. It is about a 50-minute drive.
Are there other alternatives that you guys are exploring for locations to have him drug screen?
Yes, it was asked in an email correspondence if Austin would like us to do manual drug screening from the agency, since we are trained to do those during parenting times. I never received a response about that in particular. Alternatively, based on a case conference that occurred today, Brene Moore has also been open to being retrained to do the drug screenings herself as well during parenting times to ensure that they are able to be completed.
As far as the younger of the two, did he have an evaluation this past week?
Yes.
And what was the evaluation for?
The evaluation was for early on services.
Were you present at the evaluation?
Yes.
Did they have, is there any initial report or indication of what services may be available to him?
Yes, a full review of his evaluation will be done on the 21st of January. But the initial impressions that were given to me for him was definitely some speech delay and potential speech services. Otherwise, he actually performed very well during the evaluation.
What does a full review of the evaluation look like? Is it a Zoom meeting or is it done in person?
From my understanding, for them, it was an in-person meeting that was scheduled.
And then children are scheduled to start therapy with CMH today?
Yes.
Nothing further.
I noticed that the maternal, or I'm sorry, the paternal, or Austin's parents were denied for purposes of caregiving and case planning, and that came through, it looks like early December. Is that accurate?
They were denied for placement, yes.
Okay. The report specifically says paternal grandmother engaged in case planning, however, has been assessed inappropriate for placement or alternate caregiving. A placement safety screening was completed and denied on 12/9/25. So can we have a copy of why that denial happened? Is there like a detailed report or something that we can look at? My concern is if he's living with them and they're denied for placement or even alternate caregiving, that being his household might be an issue that needs to be on our radar. But also secondarily for purposes of if visitation ever moved to that home.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me how you're thinking about that?
Yeah, I can definitely provide a report during the next court hearing or whatever.
Thanks.
But the grandparents were initially denied placement due to CPS history, which I believe is in the process of, they are pursuing expungement of that history in order to support placement, or at least interactions with the children. Currently, it was brought up to me that Mr. Doobie wants to move out, wants to get his own residence. With that understanding, we have not really considered the interactions between that due to visits being therapeutic currently, not being in the parental home, and his intentions to move out.
Is he on probation or had any interactions with law enforcement in the last report period, if you know?
I believe he was previously on probation. I believe he paid the fees that he was supposed to, and completed that.
Thanks. Any redirect, recross, or questions based on my questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. You may return your seat. Okay. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor. I would leave it to Ms. Singh if she would like to call her client. Thank you.
Ms. Singh?
Yes, I would like to call my client. Thank you.
You come on up to our witness stand. Deputy Slater will log you in. We'll swear you in.
Raise your hand. You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Singh?
Thank you. Austin, can you please state your full name for the record?
Austin Doobie.
Thank you. And you're the father of 2 of the children in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to hear everything that was just testified to by the caseworker?
Yes.
And so we're going to break that down, and I'm going to ask you some questions about each different area, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so with regards to your visits, it sounds like you may have had a concern previously with regards to the request to change the days of those. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
I've already switched I already requested I get Wednesdays off so I can see my kids that day. And I can't just keep going to my boss and saying, hey, I can't work this day. Hey, I can't work this day. So, I mean, that's where I was at that.
Okay, but you just heard the testimony of the caseworker, and it sounds like that is no longer being requested, and your visits planned to be on the same days.
As far as I understand, it should stay on Wednesday from now on.
Okay, and again, you're just requesting that stay as is due to your work schedule. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. And then with regards to your work, where are you currently employed?
I deliver. I'm a delivery driver for Domino's until I get a car, and then I'm going to go out and seek better employment.
Okay. And are you able then to provide proof of your pay stub to the caseworker to verify that employment?
The way I get paid is through a pay card, and I have every text message of every dollar I've ever made for the last 6 months there on my phone if that's sufficient proof that I get paid.
And you're able to provide that to the worker then after the hearing today?
Yeah, I can go back as far as she wants.
Okay.
All the way back to July.
Okay. And if she would request that your supervisor or somebody at your employment, in addition, reach out to her just to verify your employment, is that something that you'd be willing to set up as well?
Domino's number is on Google, and anybody can call, and they all know me there.
Okay, but if for some reason it needed to be a supervisor, is that something you'd be willing to talk to your supervisor about and arrange?
Yeah, I can have him call her Thursday. I work Thursday.
Okay. And then with regards to the testimony that was given for the intake at CMH, you've already had that. Is that accurate?
Yes, I attended a CMH appointment and on Monday, and this is what I wanted to bring up too, because I'll say mistaken the truth, but she mistaken the truth quite a few times during her testimony. So I have the date right here that I sent her in text message, which she's claiming I did not, that my first appointment is in 2 weeks on Monday at 1 o'clock. And that is not like a number date, no, but in 2 weeks on Monday at 1 o'clock is a click on a calendar on a phone away from figuring out.
So are you then stating that your first appointment would be on Monday, January 26th?
Yes, at 1 p.m.
Okay. And with regards to the psych evaluation, it sounds like you have that scheduled for tomorrow as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, and I did not have any idea about that until I was right there hearing it. So, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about the communication still. I mean, it's been a problem since it started.
Okay. Are you receiving email communication from the caseworker?
I'm getting some of the emails, but not all of the emails that I'm being told that I'm being sent. I signed the documents, the ones that said to complete and sign. I clicked on them all and I completed and I signed them. As far as like the drug testing, I don't have an email that suggests anything about drug testing. I have an email about Braxton's early on appointment, which I responded to those. So I responded to every email that I have received. And the ones that I have not responded to, I have not received.
Okay, so then you're testifying today that any email that you've ever received from the caseworker, or at least ever received in the last reporting period, you have responded to, and then the ones that you haven't responded to, it's safe to assume you did not receive those?
Yes.
Okay. With regards to the drug testing, though, we heard testimony today that it sounds like if you are willing to have the drug testing completed by the caseworker during your parenting time, or even by Brene Moore potentially, that would be a possibility. Is that something that you are agreeable to?
I've already agreed to it. I don't know why she said I didn't, but I've already said a long time ago, which is why I haven't brought anything up about it since, and I've been waiting this entire time for it. As far as drug testing, I did agree to drug test today before I leave. And then as regarding to the drug testing that she showed up to do manually, I will state that I was home, but I was sleeping. I had a text message from early in that morning, but no missed phone calls.
Okay, so you weren't avoiding that drug testing, then you just did not know that she was there and didn't.
Absolutely. I did not wake up until about 1:45, 2 p.m. that day.
Okay.
Is when I actually got out of bed. I seen the text message from her and I said, oh crap. But I didn't figure, that she'd been there because I did not wake up to a door. I did not wake up to my phone ringing. Nothing like that. I had 0 missed calls, but I did have a text from her that morning.
Okay. So it sounds like then moving forward, you're happy to agree to and arrange the drug testing, even if you've already agreed to it, to start on
At this point, I will go purchase my own drug test and start bringing them in because I don't do drugs. I was 130-pound skeleton when I did drugs. I'm 200 pounds in fat right now. I mean, that's like the opposite. So
okay.
I have no symptoms of drug use at all. So I'm okay, and I've been okay with the drug testing since the very beginning. I am just waiting.
Okay. And then you heard the testimony with regards to the documentation that is being requested to prove that your parents own the home that you're currently residing in.
I'm sorry, repeat the question. I couldn't hear you at the end.
Did you hear the testimony given by the caseworker just now with regards to you needing to provide documentation showing that your parents legally own the house that you're residing in?
I don't understand why that is like any of their concern, whether my parents own their own house or not. Where I live, maybe I can write something up saying that I live at that address, but as far as like them proving ownership of the house, I don't understand why that is necessary.
The court highlighted issues with a distant drug testing location, leading to alternative options, while the child may need speech therapy. Concerns were also raised about the father's living situation due to past CPS history. The father denied avoiding drug tests, blamed communication gaps, and agreed to fully cooperate as the case continues.
Okay, so you understand that the department is requesting proof that either, if you did have your own apartment, for example, that they would need proof showing that you were actually renting that apartment, correct?
Yeah, I can show that because, that's not anybody else's like private life business. I mean, but like if I'm signing a lease agreement, yeah, I can show her a lease agreement. That's no problem for me.
Okay, so you're just stating that you're concerned about being required to give legal documentation that isn't necessarily yours.
Yeah, or anything to do with the case itself. I don't understand why they're all excited about figuring out if they own their own home or not.
Okay. There was testimony given that you're looking into getting your own housing, or that's something that you're wanting to do. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. It is in the mid future, like not near future, but like I'm working towards it. Right now I'm at the verge of getting a car, and that's step one. After that, I make more money. I can get a place.
Okay. Are you aware of if let's say reunification did happen with your children, are they able then to be residing in the home that you're currently living in?
There's a room. There's an extra spare room. Have everything they need, food, clothes, everything that they need.
Okay. And are you aware then of if your parents, since you're living with them, they're okay with the kids living there as well if reunification occurred?
My parents love their grandkids. Yeah. Yes.
But can you answer the question I just asked you?
I don't see I don't see what the issue would be with the kids staying at the house. My whole goal is to be their dad. So.
Okay. So your parents haven't stated to you that, the kids can't live with you you living here if that were the case?
No, they would not. They would not say that. No, they would never say that.
Okay. And then with regards to the releases, it sounds like you've already signed all releases requested and taken care of that, correct?
Yes, I signed all the documents sent to me for my youngest son. I completed and I signed all those documents to the point where it said thank you for completing the document and then all that stuff. So I made sure that I finished it. And then I went through and I went back about 30 to 60 days. I don't remember exactly how far I went back, but I went back quite a bit to grab the rest of them, and I signed what I could find.
Okay. And there was testimony given today, and there was an attachment to the court report regarding a visit that you had at the caregiver's home on December 26th. So in that letter that I'm referencing, it was stated that you had cussed at the children or cussed with the children present during those visits, that the visit wasn't appropriate. Can you elaborate on your perspective of what occurred during that visit?
Yeah, I never said a cuss word to either one of my boys. What happened was, from the finish, is Malachi was having a tantrum, and I wanted him to put something away, and he was not going to have it. And so he started throwing a fit, and I told him, okay, we're going to go to timeout. So I tried to put him in timeout, but he was fighting me, and he was not having that either. So Brooke suggested that I just let him be and go to a little hallway that he goes to and has his tantrums in. So I let him go, and he went into his little hallway and started punching the door. I wanted to cool down for a minute because I was a little, I have not seen Malachi portray that degree of like anxiety or whatever it was that was causing him to freak out at that time. So it was new to me too. And I collected myself, and I went to him, and when I was calm, I looked at him, I said, "Are you okay now?" And he said no. So what I did is I gave him a big hug, and then I tickled him, and then he was all right after that. But the swearing thing, I told him that he was not going to freaking act like that. I did say that. I'm not going to lie. I said freaking, but I did not say an actual cuss word to my boys.
Okay. Alrighty. Is there anything else in the court report or that was testified to today with regards to this matter that you would like to elaborate on?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
Is there anything else just in general with regards to the court report that you had a chance to review before today, or with regards to the testimony that was given by the caseworker that you want to elaborate further on or give your perspective of?
Yeah, I would ask why the other two reports, the one that were under supervision of a therapeutic session, were not included. But the one bad visit and the one time that Malachi showed me behavior that he doesn't exploit all the time, but it does happen. And I'm getting ridiculed for one mistake that I made out of this whole time. When all my other parenting has gone nothing but flawless, both boys react to me well, they love me, they listen to me. They know me as dad, they want me to be their dad, they ask me if they can come live with me, and I have to tell them, I'm trying, and you know what? I feel like I'm getting nowhere because I'm being attacked for the one thing I do wrong versus the 1,000 things I did right.
Okay, so you're frustrated that only maybe some of the, things that have.
I just feel like a little bit of I don't know if it's because I'm the dad and I'm not the mom or what it is, but I love my kids just as much as any other parent loves their kids. I will go to war for my kids. If my kids are in danger, I don't care what the court says, I will go save them. That is just the bottom line here. So
Okay, so you want what's best for your kids and you are willing to do what is necessary and required of you to ensure that the kids are safe and taken care of and have a relationship with you. Is that accurate?
yes.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat. Thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Stang?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anyone you'd like us to hear from, Mr. Howitt?
This. Sarah, what's your last name?
Bregman.
Ms. Bregman.
Okay. Ma'am, come on up to our podium first and give us your spell your name, please. Yeah.
Okay, Abigail Bergman is my name. So, and I'm I'm his mom.
Could you spell?
I'm sorry, Abigail Brigman. Abigail
And
Bergman.
head to our witness stand. Thank you.
All right.
All right, do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Howard.
Prior to this court involvement happening, what was your relationship like with your grandchildren?
I spent tons of time with them. I felt like I was their only avenue why all the parents were in the mess they were in for normalcy. I was picking them up on every weekend, like a normal thing for me to do. I just have been there since they were all born, since I consider my oldest is their oldest brother, who is not biologically mine, but I've been in his life for 8 years, and he is my grandson. I have pictures all over my walls. I have holidays with him. I have holidays with all my grandkids. So I don't limit that to just my biological, and I feel like I've been suppressed when I feel like I've been their avenue.
Let's see. And currently, what are you allowed to do with your grandchildren?
Nothing.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but I'm going to object to this line of testimony. I'm unsure the relevancy as it relates to the purpose of a review hearing, the progress that Mr. Doobie is making on his case service plan, and the progress being made towards the goal of reunification. So I just would object on those grounds at this time.
Your Honor, from my perspective, I am in the process of evaluating or investigating Ms. Bregman as a support for placement, which there's been some instability with placement currently, and I think that she could provide support if permitted by the department.
Yes, I did see that in the court report, and also raised some questions to Atlas Dimmick about that issue. So I'll allow it for limited purposes, understanding that it may affect the permanency for the children if Mr. Doobie or the mother is not able to accomplish their goal of reunification. Certainly relatives and permanency will become a question.
The father agreed to provide proof if it's his own lease, but questioned why his parents' ownership matters. He's working toward getting a car and eventually his own place, saying his current home can support the kids if reunification happens. He denied inappropriate behavior during visits, admitting only minor language, and expressed frustration that one mistake is being used against him despite positive parenting overall.
I'm gonna roll the objection. Go ahead.
So just to clarify, currently you're not allowed to see the grandchildren or only supervised?
I believe that the CPS, I want to say, they approved my husband to supervise me while I take my grandkids to their appointments, because I have a past CPS history. I did not lose my rights to my kids. I did raise my kids.
And what is your understanding of your CPS history?
What's on there that I was told that is hindering me is I did have drug usage myself in the past. I have not been dishonest with any of the court hearings that's ever come about with the parents. So I was charged with usage and then neglect with a past CPS case.
Have you attempted to obtain your CPS records?
I have asked, but I don't know if I was asking the right people, because I have asked Atlas, but I'm not sure, being a third party, that I'm asking the right people. I don't know who to ask. I don't know what avenue to go down. I don't want to go away, and I'm not going away. I love my grandkids. I love my son. I'm a huge support system. I have a really good rapport with the caregiver that has the kids now. We're really close. We talk on a daily basis. I don't know where to go. I need help, and I'm asking for help. I'm asking for the courts to hear and to give me something. My grandkids love me, and I've been around for a long time.
And then just briefly, you were at the Christmas visit.
Yes.
Would you say that, have you reviewed the letter that was provided in the court report? Which recollection of the visit would you say is more accurate?
I would say the letter is. I do believe that my son has emotional things that he does need to work on. I've known that for a long time, and that's why we're sitting in the courtroom today with my grandkids in the balance. I don't think it's a lost cause by any means. I just think he needs that extra support system. So
I have nothing further.
Any questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Stein?
Just a few. Thank you. You have a testimony with regards to your house that Austin is currently living in, correct?
yes, he lives at my house. I don't know if I heard you right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you own your house?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If it were still being requested by the department for proof of you owning that home, is that something that you'd be willing to provide to Austin so he could give that to the department?
Yes, I today was the first day I learned of needing that at all. I did not know that. I would have given it to him whenever it was requested.
Okay, so that's something that you'll get to him so that he can provide that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And then with regards to, if reunification occurs while Austin is living with you, are the children, from your perspective and your, what you'll allow in your home, are they able to live in the home with Austin if that were to occur?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I live in a 4-bedroom house, and I have space. I have an empty room.
Okay.
That would be appropriate, I think. So.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return your seat.
Thank you.
Anyone else you'd like us to hear from?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's go to closing comments, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think at this juncture, there's some kinks that really need to get worked out, and I think it's more related to the case management component. Atlas has done a really good job of including the attorneys on their communications with Mr. Doobie. It is concerning that he's reportedly not receiving those, but the rest of us are, and that it seems at the convenient times that he's not receiving those. So I have and will instruct Atlas to include all contacts moving forward, and to also make sure that there's read receipts on the emails being sent. I think at this juncture, Mr. Doobie is in the beginning phases of his treatment plan, that the conditions that led to adjudication and to removal are still present, although being addressed. I would encourage him to continue to do what he's doing. And I think that a lot of the issues related to family support have already been discussed in team meetings. And I don't know how else the family can receive the support or the knowledge or education, or try to help with the understanding of what's policy, and that the children have been entrusted to the department, and that the department's policy has to govern. Unfortunately, and that differs from how families operate when they're not under the court's jurisdiction or when the children are not removed. But I think that a lot of these issues are ripe for family team meetings. And I just would encourage the parties to continue to communicate and work together collaboratively, because there are a lot of children involved. The family does love all of these children, and they're working very hard. And it's not convenient in any way, shape, or form to have to comply, I guess, with the oversight of the department. However, that is the situation we are in. So I'd ask the court to consider that moving forward. I think parenting time status quo until there's some demonstrated consistent progress in that area. With Ms. Moore being able to attest to that, I think that psychological evaluation will also give her some information about any other areas that might need to be worked on during their time together. Otherwise, I think setting this for 90-day review with the other parents' review hearing would be appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. Stay?
Thank you. So I think that the record reflects that there have been some communication breakdowns during this last reporting period. There's been some errors and miscommunication with regards to some of the services being started or appropriately scheduled or referred. I think that it can be said that that is, due to no fault of just one person. I think that there's been some issues with both sides of getting things to be where they need to be, but it sounds like at this point, communication is getting back on track with everybody, and the services are, being complied with. There's things scheduled as far as psychological evaluations, and then with the intake with CMH and the therapy beginning. And I know that Austin is hoping to be able to do everything he needs to do to be able to have his kids back in his care, as he testified today. So we would request the standard review period so that we can come back and show that Austin has made significant progress in his case service plan.
Mr. Howard?
Yes, sure. I would say, as far as the kids are concerned, I think they're in a really good spot right now, and they're set up for services, and I would expect continued progress and improvement on that end. As far as Mr. Doobie, I think he's made some strides in some areas in the communication errors, and kind of a barrier and getting something started, but I'm excited for him to get a psychological evaluation if he is available tomorrow. But I just ask that he continue to engage with Ms. Renee Moore, that she continue to have the discretion over parenting time moving forward. And I trust that at family team meetings and other avenues that we'll continue to explore other relative support to kind of ease the burden off of the caregivers. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's first review and permanency planning hearing for Mr. Doobie. I do find the goal to be appropriate. Reunification will remain the goal moving forward in the next report period. The order will also reflect reasonable efforts towards that goal have been made. The record is replete with examples of that, as well as the court report. So thank you, Atlas Dimmick, for your efforts on that. Our attorneys are also in satisfaction of their obligations. Thank you, Mr. Howitt. Couple of homework assignments for Atlas Dimmick include, of course, what we talked about on record, some of the information about the reason that Austin's parents have been denied for further involvement, we'll say, with the children. I'd also like you to make your own independent evaluation of that information. And if you feel that that the grandparents could or should be utilized more for caretaking with these two, then take it to Mr. Howard or bring it to me through Ms. Thomas so that we can expand that despite the initial barriers that you may be hitting there. Because if they are indeed as well bonded as they may be to this caregiver, as well as the challenges presented to the current caregivers, I would expect that we would be able to expand that for both boys so that they could have better support moving forward. Also, I agree with Ms. Thomas that I think it would be just courtesy copies of the emails and contacts that you send out for referrals could be useful in the next report period with your court report. That being said, so I listened carefully to the testimony that you gave us today, Mr. Doobie, and I think it's important to understand that questioning Ms. Dimmick, questioning the caregivers, questioning Ms. Brene Moore, and accusing a lot of other people of not having communication or being facetious or untruthful really compromises your credibility in this court, because then if something does happen, I have to wonder if it's really happening or if it isn't happening. You're better off simply taking responsibility or not saying anything at all if you're not able to accomplish the service, because there's no ground here for me to entertain that everything is everyone else's fault and no one else is telling the truth about what's happening, and you're only getting emails when you need them or want them. So don't bother with that, because it will just further undermine your credibility moving forward, and then you'll have more work to do in order to earn that credibility back, which means more work to do to earn your kids back. So go to your drug testing, go to your parenting time, do what you need to do, and take responsibility for it, or don't say anything at all if you're not able to do that. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about you, it's about what's gonna happen to your boys. And that's what I have to look at. So I hope to see more progress. I appreciate the services you are engaged in and the plans to engage in those services in the next report period. And I look forward to looking at your progress at the next court hearing. I would offer to the parties March 24th at 9 a.m. It's a Tuesday, if you're able to join us. Does that work for everyone? March 24th for our next review and permanency planning hearing?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, is there a reason to not keep it with the other parents? Is it just not available?
It's just simpler to go through them different, like it's already so long.
Understood.
The other hearing that we had yesterday took all afternoon.
Yeah.
So I would rather just make enough time so that I can hear Mr. Doobie's case and hear the case for the other parents. I appreciate your enthusiasm for tackling all of the same.
Well, it just makes sense.
When did we set the other one for?
April 6th.
February, April 6th at 1:30.
Yeah, see, I have another case already set at 2:30 to be consolidated with the termination trial as well. So that would be a tough one to get in, I think.
Yeah, understood.
So maybe next time. All right, March 24th at 9 a.m. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
The grandmother emotionally asks for help accessing her CPS records, saying she doesn't know who to contact but refuses to give up on her family. She admits past mistakes, but insists she's a strong support system and agrees her son needs improvement. She confirms she owns the home, is willing to provide proof, and says the children can live there if reunification happens. In closing, both sides highlight communication issues but note progress in services, while the judge keeps reunification as the goal and warns the father that blaming others hurts his credibility, urging him to take responsibility and focus on real progress before the next hearing.